Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, the seekers and sojourners of truth, the 144 chosen of the chosen of the chosen few. You know who you are, you steeds from within the stars. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Celestial Earth in the divine energy essence of it all, reporting to you live from none other than 5D. My people in 5D, come with me, come with me. Let's go. As usual, I come to bring you the news to infuse if you so choose to infuse with the light grid. Let's get on this light grid activation, because if not, you're getting fried. On the grid. Right? And fish don't burn on the grill. So happy new moon in Virgo. I can't say it no other way. It's like a birthday for me because my moon is a Virgo. I'm a Virgo moon. So this is the new moon for me, is like the moon coming full cycle, and literally because I'm actually in the phase of the crescent waning. So it's like right before the new moon. It's like I've come full cycle to the moon that I was born in. In the waning phase is more receptive. I'm inclined to be more receptive in receptivity. But with that, the full moon, for those who don't know, not the full moon, I'm so used to full moon, the new moon. The new moon is when the sun and moon have come into alignment. And this new moon brings an alignment at 11 degrees. And I'm so excited to say that number because that number has just been popping up. I know those of you who've been seeing 1111 or 1155, or you may have been seeing a lot of fives, because this has to do with change, right? And with Uranus that has been playing its part, there's been a lot of changes lately. Just in the last month alone to now, there's been so many that with this new moon, we're kind of getting a little bit of a break. We're getting some space, but it is to it is to find order and grace within this space. Because remember, grace is always afforded to you, but we are to find that grace. That means in all that we've been through, we have to find it in our perspectives. We have to fine tune our perspective. So as per our spec of what we are seeing, our perspectives, we are to find the grace in all of this. See what the revelations have brought to us. These revelations of truth that have brought about the veilings, as I mentioned, that I didn't even mention the title because I wasn't sure quite what I was going to name it, but you'll see it. But it has to do with Virgo, with the unveiling of what's been happening. So it's the piercing of, it's piercing the veils of illusion is basically what I'm talking about. It's piercing the veils of illusion and recalling Chiron's mission. That's mainly what I want to talk about. I want to bring our attention to Chiron, as Chiron is the wounded healer and Chiron rules Virgo. So Chiron and Mercury. Mercury is more the traditional ruler, which it also rules Gemini, but Chiron is known right now for being the healer, the wounded healer. And so Virgo has this healing aspect to it. This is why it's also, for those of you who have the calendar, it is the month of Auset. And Auset is nursing. See, if you follow these houses, they tell a story, right? Our ancient ones have been telling us a story through these houses, starting with Aries, Asar, and leading up to where we are now in Virgo, Auset. And this is the full first half of the cycle, the first 6 months from Asar to Auset. And remember, Auset is, through her remembering, brings Asar back to life. So bringing back into the physicality, the first months being more of a physical component, and understanding that Asar or Virgo, this is, thank you, Spirit. I want to bring it back to the nursing, because I will go off into some comedic inclinations, which is all good. It's all information that helps us. but I wanted to focus back on the nursing aspect. So think of the battle that we just came through, coming through the month of Heru, or the Leo season, the month of Leo. And a lot of light codes had been coming through, and we were walking through the halls of Amenti, aka their Lion's Gate, and a lot of illusions were being broken. We were fighting these illusions. We're fighting the good battle, right? We're fighting. Heru is really fighting that battle, which is the battle with Set, which Set is just our ruling, our misappropriated ego, and the rulings that we have in the world, the misappropriations of the world. And Set comes up to highlight that in our consciousness. So this battle with Heru, our superconscious, is fighting this battle and breaking all these illusions that we have been set in. Get it? We've been set. See, it's funny how words come up. We've been set in the Setian dynamics. And as we have fought through that, now here we come into Aset. And this is Aset. It's like the reset, pressing the reset button. And bringing in nurturing and order and a perspective. So based on everything that we have come through in that battle with the illusions, because when you're breaking illusions, that means we have to change perspectives. That means we have to change how we've been seeing things. Our perceptions have to change. If you so inclined to, some people choose to still fight and still put up the resistance and hold on to their preferences. And we do ourselves no service in that. So allow the veils to come down. That's what this new moon is about. Allow this new moon to bless over you. Allow it to bring the spiritual awakening that it is saying to you. Hello, 11:11. The sun and moon in 11. That's the 11:11 right there. In a sense, that's like an 11:11 portal in itself right there. Right? That is, remember, portals are just energetic hotspots. And so not only that, according to the calendar, for those of you who have it, the day before was actually the 11th. The day before the new moon was the 11th day of the 6th month. And so this is leading up to the 11:11 sun and moon portal, so to speak. And on that day is when Pluto went into, as it was already in retrograde, but went back into the 29 degrees of Capricorn. So there's something that was like, whoop, whoop, let's go back here. And then it opened up, I want to say like a wormhole or a portal. And it may have just been me. I don't know. I'll share my experience. I don't know what anybody else has had. But for me, it could be possibly because of my moon coming to its full cycle during the new moon as well, which would be the day before, at its crescent stage, when it just went into Virgo. It opened up a space where I want to say the veil was really thin, and I got ancestral visits. The ancient ones were reminding me of the ancient ones within me. And that's why the video I did before this was so kind of had like a serious tone, because of the messages that I had gotten through those ancestors that were coming through and really highlighting to me how serious it is that we have to be careful on the other surrounding energies and information. And that was a serious tone for me, but it was a beautiful experience in the sense that so many of them were coming through, so many ancestors. It was like a line. It was like, wait a minute, can we come through? It was like something opened up and they were ready to come through. And I do believe that 11:11 sun and moon portal has something to do with it also being according to the calendar, because they're working with my consciousness and I'm very much involved in the 5D calendar. So according to the 5D calendar, that day was the 11, and also with the Pluto going back. So I don't know what you may have experienced, but I share that with you to be open to looking at what this 11:11 means to you. And it is a spiritual awakening that is happening, and that is through the veils that have been falling. as the veils are falling, the old paradigm, London Bridge is coming down. And I'm not just speaking about London over there. I'm talking about America as itself is also one of London's bridges, right? So is Australia. All of London's little bridges are coming down. Those structures are coming down because the new true earth is emerging. 5D is already here and it's continuing to rise in the frequencies, the fifth density light frequencies that are coming in. So this is very intrinsic and collective, and the veils, we must understand why these veils that have been coming down, the revelations of truth, and why Pluto is going back is it's like to help us deveil. This is the last time that Pluto, and I may need to do a different video speaking specifically about Pluto. I've been meaning to do it and haven't, but it is very important to this time right now, because just the day before the new moon, it's like, hey, here's your new beginnings to your new beginnings. Here's your 10-10. If you've been seeing 10-10, here's your 10-10, right? Because as the veils are coming down, we need to have a new perspective on how things may have been happening. It's giving us a chance to reflect, right? Through this perspective, there's a reflective insight in the revelations that are to be had, because Pluto is about it's about personal power through revelations, through death to rebirth transformations that bring the revelations. And some of us have had some real death to rebirth scenarios, situations happening around January during the Mahurta frequencies, as well as when Pluto moved with the sun into Aquarius, bringing the outer world, bringing everything, those revelations to the outer world. And so it's like we were forced to see some things and it maybe didn't feel so right. And so people have been, since then, we've been going through the other cosmic shifts that have been helping us along the way to heal in this dynamic, to reveal, to heal. And so now, and with the double Capricorn moon we had over the summer as well, that was bringing us to a sense of accountability to understand the part that we play in that time, during that time when Pluto moved forward with the sun into Aquarius. So it was giving us some time to, lick our wounds, but really now buckle up, hold yourself accountable, because that was 6 months after what had happened. So it was also reflective. And so if we had done the work there, right now, it's given us an opportunity to look back at it again, but with better eyesight and with less emotional upheaval, if we allow ourselves to embrace the lessons that were learned. If we allow ourselves to really say, okay, I learned this revelation is happening, has happened, and through that I now see this. So because of you doing so great, I'm saying this because the things that may come back up through this dip back in Capricorn 29 degrees, that may cause us to go back to the scene of the crime, so to speak, to go back to that time. It's not to be in a depressive mode. It is to be evolved in it. It is to see what needs to be shaken down. Like I almost want to call it the great shakedown, right? And it's shaking down any little residualness, any crumbs that may have been left behind, things that you didn't see before because of how painful it may have been or how chaotic it may have been. Now, through us breaking through the halls, walking through the halls of Amenti and breaking through other illusions and helping to deveil, right now we have better eyes. We have better eyes to see with. So we're not looking through the malfunctional state, right? The malevolent state. We're looking now with a sense of more benevolence, and we're not so much in a state, and I'm not saying everybody, but this is where it would be beneficial to be in this space where you're not so much in the mind state of lack. You're not focusing on the lack, and you're not in a state of grief, right? If you are still grieving, that's okay, but you want to be moving through your grief, through the stages of grief, allowing yourself to grieve in the way where you allow yourself to be vulnerable. This vulnerability that brings the humility so that you can see what you need to see. That humility that allows you to compassion, that allows your capacity for compassion to expand, right? and be compassionate with yourself as well as others, whoever you have felt that has done you wrong, to be compassionate. Expand your compassion even towards them, to know that those challenges have happened for a reason. That's part of the creative duality, right? For us to be in our right space in our mind with this creative duality. Um, it allows us to see that it's not this polarized, the duality that is polarized. It's a devolution. It's devilized, so to speak, devilized into thinking that this separation is, oh, it's evil and it's this and it's that. It's evil if you're bent on evil, right? And it's evil if you don't allow yourself to see the creative duality, the complexity of that you chose to come here and be in this space to have the duality experience so that you can transcend. Without the experience of it, you can't transcend. So it's for us to take it in a way where we can look and say, ooh, I like that. Ooh, I see that. Are you finding your patterns? That's what it's about. Are you finding your karmic patterns? That's what it's helping you to do. And so when we change our perspective, we can look back at it with those type of eyes. I say all that to say, when you look back, when we retro back into the 29 degrees, don't let it carry you down. It's carrying you back to shake down those old perspectives and for you to see, hey, this is the pattern. I found the pattern. Now I see what I need to transcend in order to really, to successfully get out of that old paradigm. Some of us are pulling towards the new timeline and we feel that something isn't right, but we haven't quite gotten rid of our detachments. There's still some old programming that we have to remove from, right? The old programming of the world, the institution, those old, as I said, old paradigms. It's falling down, so it's taking another dip, Capricorn, back into Capricorn, to say, hey, look at this, right? So this full moon, this new moon, I keep saying full, new moon, it happens right before the new moon, saying, hey, let's dip back and now let's look at this with new eyes, right? And let's have some order. Let's walk in divine order. Let the divine order your steps in these ways. And with that, you have Saturn in opposition, and Saturn, Lord of Karma, in the house of karma, in the opposition, is saying, it's giving us a chance to look and say, hey, slow down as well. Again, find order, take your time. Take your time with each and every step, one step at a time. You don't got to swallow the whole picture. Take a look at the big picture, but know what incremental steps you need to take. And Saturn is that checks and balance, that is it's providing the opposition just so that you can be truly reflective of this spiritual awakening, so you're not just jumping in, right? And it's also helping to slow down the distractions. If you find yourself being distracted, that is the expanded planet Jupiter. That is the Jupiter in Gemini that is causing any type of, it's like it's expanding your distractions. It may expand how the distractions and how you're communicating, with Mars there as well, because Mars is like ready to just, hey, take the initiative. Let's say this, let's do this. It's ready to move in mental action. And with Jupiter expanding on it, it could cause some distraction. So listen to Saturn's little, hey, hold up, right? And as Pluto is in Capricorn, it's in the house of Saturn, right? So it's like a lot of little exchange of energy happening there. And one of the things that I like to point out with Pluto as well, this is how you see that we're being shown ways to look at these illusions, because Neptune also at which is at 29 degrees as well, yes, is in, it's in an aspect with Pluto. Is it sextile? I believe it's sextile. It's in a strong aspect with Pluto right now. That is helping to remove the idealizing out of those illusions, so to speak. Basically, it's helped to bring realistic concepts in, right? To break from those illusions. Because why? Because Pluto being about revelation of truth, when it is in an aspect with Neptune in that way, and they're both at 29 degrees, so the analytical sign, the analytical degrees, so it's like as it's closing out, they're both closing out some illusions if you allow it to help you. These are the energies that are really helping those who are in illusions to really break down the illusions. And you've been getting them for quite some time, as Pluto has been in that house. It has been in its home space, which is Pisces, right? Pluto is like the planet of spirituality and dreaming and looking beyond, and it's in Pisces, which is the house of spirituality. So it's in its comfortable zone, and you can drift off. You can allow yourself to be pulled, and the opposition will utilize your weak points to pull you into these illusions, especially if you have natal placements with Neptune in that way, right? Especially if your Neptune is in Sagittarius, and you may be more inclined to be an escapist, so to speak. You may want to escape into certain storylines and certain different, fantasy timelines of your soul. So it's breeding grounds for some serious illusions. So I say this so that you can understand that that strong aspect with Pluto and Neptune is a really helpful tool in breaking these illusions for all of us on many levels. But it's a really helpful tool to have, to pay attention to, that is bringing reality in, right? So any unrealistic idealisms are being challenged with those two, because revelation of truth is like, hey, we can't go there with that, right? And with Saturn being in the same house, that's another thing. You may have been getting carried away with some dreams or things like that, but since Saturn got into Pisces, that kind of slows down the momentum of going so far into the illusions. It's like it actually kind of puts a halt on it. Once Saturn enters there, Saturn is like, hey, whoa, checks and balance. The Lord of Karma is here, and you will see the karmic patterns. You will find the karmic patterns. It's not bad karma, like I came here to bring you hell. But some of us may feel hell because we've been living in hell. If you've been living in a lie, you've been living in hell, right? And that's one of the messages I got from the great ancestors. There's nothing more fragile than a lie. So if you've been living in lies, you've been living in the fragility of hell, right? So the frigidity and the frigidness and the fragility, however you want to look at it. So it's not really so much doom and gloom, but it was like, hey, I'm going to help you find your karmic pattern. Like, let's kind of look at it in that way. Everybody's always so, oh, karma. It's like, no, I'm here to help you find your karmic pattern. By the way, do you remember that that's why you're here? Like, you came here to have this soul experience so that you can find your karmic patterns, transcend that, ascend in your soul, evolve, and help not just evolve individually, but collectively with the evolution of the planet, right? So it's all part of the cosmic design. What you think you here for? Get your whole life together. Hello, karmic pattern. It's like tap, 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 back to the drawing board. Did you find your karmic pattern? Right? So it may not feel so good, but it's here to help you, right? And then when you do so, guess who else is helping? Chiron, the Chiron mission. This brings me to my Chiron mission. So this Virgo healing, the Chiron, which is the ruler of Virgo. So this Virgo healer now is recalling Chiron's mission. A lot of us lose sight of Chiron. I don't hear much people talking about it, but Chiron, as the wounded healer, is in Aries, right? And that says something. It's been there. Got about one more year, I believe, of being there. Chiron spends 4 years in a house. So it being there is 2424. I just saw 2424. That's 6/6, receptive completion. So please be receptive to these words. Chiron being in Aries means this. Not only is it helping you to heal in your individual awareness, in your identity, because that's, you know, being in Aries. Aries is about your individuality, your I am, your ego. It's very much a solar plexus type of sign, right? So in that being said, not only is it about your identity and your individuality, but also collectively, it is about the collective imprint, healing our collective imprint from the shadows of the age of the ram, which we are still having some of those imprints, right? The patriarchal rule, the misappropriations of the patriarchal rule in the masculine energy. And I say misappropriations because I don't want us to think that the masculine or the patriarch is bad. It is a balance. We should be balanced with our patriarch and our matriarch, or our divine masculine and divine feminine. But it is the misappropriated masculine energies, as well as aka the misappropriated patriarchs, that have fulfilled the shadows of the age of the ram. And so while Chiron has been in Aries, it has been giving us opportunity after opportunity through all type of great cosmic shifts. It's like we want to point at Chiron, like tap, tap, tap. Hey, look at Chiron. Chiron is saying, and this too is going to help heal you. And this too is, it's like all of these revelations and things that have been happening, the cosmic shifts with Pluto, with Saturn, all of these, even with the lunar nodes as we've been moving, with the eclipse, with the Mars Uranus conjunction, or the which was the other one, Jupiter Uranus conjunction. Like we had some major, you know, cosmic shifts happening, energetic movements. And through all of that, Chiron has been, it's like with every step of the way, Chiron is saying, hey, now heal this. Is giving us an opportunity to heal, meaning remove, right? So feel to reveal to heal. So the revelations are bringing us the opportunity to have a healing, to heal these shadows. And it's going to have a trickle down effect that if we heal those shadows in the age of the ram, it will trickle down to healing some shadows in the Piscean age, to healing shadows even right now as we are in the Aquarian age. We've entered into it already. We've entered into 5D. We've entered into the Aquarian age already, right? And so it is helping us to also not carry these shadows as we're entering into the Aquarian age, so that we can debunk what we need to debunk, heal what needs to be healed through revelations, have the reveal to heal that we need, to help catapult us as Pluto is going to then move forward and help usher us into the Aquarian age that much more, but in a rightful way. When we usher in, when we come in, we want to come in with least shadows attached to us as possible. The least egoic attachments to the shadows of the age of the ram or the Piscean age, or else we will fall into the shadows of the Aquarian age, which some are already doing, right? This is how I can tell those who are not really working and healing themselves, because they fall into those areas. The shadows of the Aquarian age is those who are seekers after knowledge. Nothing wrong with that, but all they're doing is gathering. They're accumulating information. That's all they're doing. Or they're just going out and speaking about information, right? I know I share information here, but I don't just speak about it. I be about it. It's a practice for me. It's practical application. And as a matter of fact, I can speak on it because I am it, because I'm in the practical works of it, and I share it with others in my workshops. By the way, next workshop coming up in September, the next full moon. So look out for that. However, I share this information, so it's not just blah, blah, blah. Some people are just so much in their ego still, and they're just giving information. How much of it are you applying to your life? It's about practical application, right? Removing the resistance out of your wires. Let these revelations bring you the healing that you need in your soul, not just the now moment healing, not just the heal me right now. I'm talking about holistically to your soul, right? Being a part of your soul's evolution, right? For the truth to behold, for you to step into your true timeline, for you to evolve in the way that you have come here to evolve and ascend, the true soul's ascension. Right, so this is all helping us. So the Chiron's mission, that's why I'm calling it Chiron's mission. This Virgo healing is recalling, it's a total recall to Chiron's mission, having us be a part of the remembering and saying, hey, do you remember Chiron's mission? We're here to wrap up the collective imprint of the shadow of the age of the ram. Gone are those days. We can't let that infiltrate this new timeline anymore. We can't let it infiltrate the 5D expansion, right? It will drastically hinder you if you're still playing with the shadows, which a lot of people are, which the powers that were, that's what they're doing. They're holding on. They don't want to lose control. They feel like if they lose control, they lose it all, because they're still so tethered to the collective imprint of those shadows through their forefathers, right? And this is why people have to do their lineage. We have to do our ancestral work. We have to do our ancestral healing, because some things those people are in an iniquitous state from their loins, from their lineage, and they have not shaken that yet. The more you do your work, the more you break these generational curses, so to speak, not just within you, but for timelines, for generations beyond. You break the stronghold that it has, that keeps you in a collective familial imprint of fear and lack and limitation. You break free from that, break out of the illusions, and move into the divine order that has its way for you, that is filled with abundance, a mind state of abundance, love-based thoughts and feelings, to be in a frequency of unity, which is the love frequency, which is 5D. Welcome to 5D, right? So allow this new moon to really work with you. Allow the previous, look at what has been happening. Allow this Pluto dipping back into 29 degrees to allow you to look at what you have come through with new true eyes, and let this order that Virgo is carrying you in. If you need something practical, do some decluttering and clearing around the house. Put something in your life in order. Find a routine. Make some type of routine, especially if you're not used to being routine, right? This is going to help balance that out for you, and let the offset energy, right? The Virgo offset energy nurse you, right? Nurse the hero in you and give you time to recoup and reset and reorder and restructure as we get ready to set forth before Ma'at, back into the balance, right? And looking forward to the next, mind you, the next eclipse is coming up. It's right around the corner. The lunar eclipse, the end of this month, and the solar eclipse within the first week of October. So we're preparing for that, which is a reflection of what we had 6 months ago, right? This is going to reflect that social dynamic, right? So fear not, fret not thyself, or however things are showing up, because that social dynamic is coming to a true reflection. And however you've worked it out, everything is according to your perspective. We choose how things are showing up in our life, world, and affairs. So choose to infuse with the light, as always, as I can say, and it will take you far, right? And there's more. I'm definitely, my apologies for not doing the live that I said I would do. We got out a little bit later than expected, and truth be told, I had some meditations to do before that, and I was focusing on my meditation. So I will definitely do, the next video will definitely be a live. I want to do a live with you all, possibly later in the day, which would be later in the evening for you, because this is the rising for me. So later on in the day. And if you've made it this far, please remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment if you dare. If you don't have words, you can always put an emoji, put the Virgo sign if you're a Virgo, whatever you want to emoji about. And also remember, those of you who paid for your calendars, the 3 that I'm still waiting on, I'm going to always say it until you, whichever video you see, to give me your information, to send me an email. Rhonda, Calvin, I am, and Stacy Holder, to send me your personalized name that you want on your calendar, as well as your address. Please email me that information, as I am still awaiting to send it out to you. And also, with that said, if you haven't already gotten it, please remember to check out your 5D calendars at a 5D corner near you. It will be in the description below. When you find 5D, then you find me, and so it is. And you will find the calendar that awaits you. As we are deveiling, I would like to say this is not just to sell calendars. It is really a tool to help you get out of the old paradigm. And the Gregorian calendar is also a major illusion. So this is a guiding tool to help you, and it's really easy to convert with the regular timeline, but it is a guiding tool to help get out of the old paradigm, continuing to, piercing the veil and let the veils fall down, veils of illusions. It's no more. Get rid of it. So please allow time, as we are vessels in time. Allow yourselves to set new times for your soul's unfoldment. And with that said, I love you all. Each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start, start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out and be the candle that lights the next one and the next one and the next one. Peace, love, and light.